Right. Hello, everybody. This is Tina Hamilton, and I have a very special guest with us today, Jeremy Schmidt and his company. I love the name of your company, Edge of Cinema. It just sounds like I want to know what that is.
Oh,
Edge of
thank you.
Cinema. You're welcome. You did well. And obviously, as you should, because this is your business. So, Jeremy, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
Sure thing. So, our business, Edge of Cinema, what we do, we create media, specifically videos, we create websites, and then we drive traffic to these media campaigns through paid ad campaigns like Google, social media. Our goal is really to help businesses optimize their presence in the digital world.
And what kind of businesses do you work with? Any size business, certain size businesses?
So really, the sweet spot for us is small and medium-sized businesses,
Okay.
businesses who maybe they have like one person on their marketing team, and that
Mm,
person is kind of in charge of getting everything done, but really they can't do everything themselves. So
sure.
they work with subcontractors like ourselves.
Okay.
And if they have ideas for marketing campaigns, they can outsource those things to us. Um,
Right.
we
Oh,
can
good.
create, we come in with like a four-man video team. We can produce content and build a website and then promote it and then help that individual manage their marketing campaign ideas.
Okay, perfect. So you're not trying to be like a full-on agency. You're zeroed in on these particular areas, or are you?
So we're zeroed in on a what we call the video marketing campaign. It's where we
Okay, that's
create
really your
a
key.
great piece of video content.
Hmm.
We'll optimize the website that it lives on, and then we'll drive traffic into it. And so with
Oh,
those three
perfect.
components, we find it's like the sum is greater than the parts.
Got it.
It's really important, obviously, if you're making a video campaign, that you need to also think about how you're going to be promoting it. Because some people, they know they want to do a video, they create something, and then they just kind of upload it to YouTube and don't really do anything with it.
Right.
They might find that they're disappointed with the results because they
Right.
failed to think about the promotion side of it.
Right. There's really no point if you're not going to promote it, right? That's
Exactly. It's only effective if you have people viewing it, and the
right.
more people you have viewing it, then the more effective it's going to be.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the edge of cinema was you wanted what? Like out of that.
So we named our business Edge of Cinema because, well, my business partner Matt Skira and I, we started off our business journey going to a school called Full Sail University.
Mm.
We studied film production and we got trained, kind of like classically trained in filmmaking, for in our instructors and our students all were learning how to make films like Hollywood films. And we wanted to bring that Hollywood edge back to the business community.
Oh, I
And
love
that's why
that.
we called it the edge of cinema.
That's so cool. And not something that everybody talks about, like, right? Like when they're out there marketing this type of
Yeah, we
business.
wanted all of our content to have a cinematic flair to it, so that's more interesting to watch, it's more
Yes.
engaging and more effective.
Yeah, we did just one video at my company like that. And I'm telling you, it probably 15 years ago, it still lives on our website and people still love it. Like
Yeah.
even today, like that many years later. So I get that. That's true. Well, I want to dig into your business and what I love about your story, and Jeremy and I got to talk just a few minutes before we started, so I don't have the whole story, but is Jeremy has a unique situation in that he has a business partner that he grew up with, um, Matt, right? And Matt
Yep.
and him have known each other since age 14.
That's right. Yeah, we met in middle school. Yeah, so our business history goes all the way back to our first meeting. We're in Westchester, so this is back in
Okay.
the days of Bam Margera and CKY.
I don't know what any of that is.
So these guys, once you had a video camera as a young teen, the best thing
Okay.
you could think to do with it was making skate videos and pranks and stunts, and that's what we
Oh,
love to do in our free time.
no way.
Yeah,
That's so
so
fun.
that was kind of our driving motivation to get these cameras in the first place. And it was our hobby on the weekends. We just made all kinds of fun videos with our friends and things like that. And it was incredibly fun and satisfying to, think of an idea, you film it, you edit it, and share it with all your friends. And so then as time went on, we were both homeschooled actually, and
Ah,
we were encouraged by our parents to say like, hey, this is a great skill you guys are developing. Maybe think about, is there some way you can make some money doing this?
I have to stop you 1 second. Does the
Sure.
fact that you were homeschooled, do you think that changed things for you?
I think it gave us more time to kind of pursue this idea that we were
Okay.
developing. Um, and and so let's say I was homeschooled all the way up until through ninth grade, and then
Wow.
I went full time to a vo-tech school. But by that time, our passion was kind of solidified in this.
Wow.
And so, but yeah, we did have opportunity and time to focus on developing this craft as part of our education.
I see.
So, for example, we started buying this equipment. We had some cameras, some real basic stuff. This is like back in the day of like VHS-C, and we would film community events like piano recitals and speech meets, and then sell copies to the parents. And so we figured out at a real young age we were able to make more money doing that than working at a job at McDonald's or something like that.
Okay. So here you have this partner and your friends. You're developing this, not even realizing you're creating your future. You're just having fun
Hmm.
with your friends with some really cool skills that probably not a lot of people had. So there you are. And then because you're homeschooled, you have more time and more freedom, I guess, to
Right, absolutely.
think and be creative, perhaps.
Yep.
That's interesting to me. And then there you go. And then you go off to college together.
So before that, we started getting employed by local wedding videography companies.
Oh,
So we
okay.
started at about age 16. We got employed by as subcontractors. So we actually that kind of launched us right into the business world because we realized we had to pay our own taxes at age 16. We had to like set aside quarterly earnings and things like that. But we were employed as subcontractors by about five large wedding companies in
At
the
age
Philadelphia.
16,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
must have been doing really good work. I mean, I could imagine that there was an abundance of people they could have chose.
I mean, it's great work for young enthusiastic
Sure.
guys who want to get started. There's tons of wedding. It's kind of a grueling job.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
I know nothing. Yeah.
it's like, you're looking at 12-hour days. You could be out till midnight. You could be driving, like out to the coast of New Jersey for some of these weddings, and but it's a lot of fun, especially as like a young man. It's like big parties and events, and you're out filming and making good money in a short period of time. And over time, like after a while, if you do weddings for 10, 20 years, it gets tiring.
Sure, I would imagine. Yeah.
And so that's why we kind of wanted to pivot away from weddings towards the corporate work.
Okay. So here you are. Now you're doing this work. All right. So how does it evolve? Do you decide to go to school together or how did that all?
Yeah, we
Mm.
we found a school in Florida called Full Sail University, which was all focused on filmmaking.
Okay.
So my partner Matt and I, we both went. We It was intensive, so we got Bachelor of Science degrees in filmmaking in 2 years because we went year round.
That's a year-round school, right? I think I have a
Right.
nephew that went there. Yeah, that you just reminded me. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool education. If you know exactly what you want to do, then I'd say it's a great school. If you're still deciding, might not be the school for you because every class was 100% focused on filmmaking.
Wow.
And so we saw some students in the class, it launched them right into filmmaking. Other students who were still kind of undecided, they didn't know what to do when they graduated because they had spent 2 years learning really specific
Intense.
filmmaking skills.
Wow.
And if they didn't want to go into filmmaking, then it's kind of like, all right, they got to restart.
Sure.
But for us, we knew exactly what we wanted to do, and it was perfect fit.
Unbelievable. And so here's this friend. I just am fascinated by this story because to have a friend that you're having fun with. I mean, think about the kids you were friends with when you were in junior high. I mean, some of them I'm still in touch with, most of them not. Like, you just kind of move on in your lives. But here, you two stayed together. Like you were meant to be together. You were homeschooled. You were, like you were really a perfect match. And then you go to school together, and then start a business together. And I just want to focus on that a minute because I think I've always, for myself, I've always been an independent business owner, and that's just who I am. And at this point, that's not going to probably change much. But for you and for other young people, finding a partner that you could actually go into business together. You know, a lot of times you have the same interests, but you're not necessarily on the same path, or your paths change because life evolves. You're young, especially when you're young. You don't know who you're going to be yet fully, or sounds like you did, but a lot of people don't. And you don't know who you're going to become for sure,
Right,
right?
right.
When you're young, you're not even married yet, nothing
Nobody
like,
knows the future, right?
yeah,
I think the reason that it's worked out really well for us is because we've been aligned in where we wanted to go this through the whole process. We're both, kind of living in similar areas. We have a focus on where we want to grow this business, and that's what makes a good partner. Is if you're aligned in all the right areas, you're going to the same place. I think on the other hand, if you found a business partner that you were not aligned with, it'd be really difficult. You'd probably quickly find yourself pulling in opposite directions,
right.
and so it's not something to be considered lightly. You really have to be in alignment with your business partner.
Because in essence, and you're married now, you're married to that person when you start a business.
Yes,
And it's even
in a lot
harder
of ways.
because a divorce, you hire an attorney. It's not easy to go through divorce,
Right.
but you go through divorce and it's over. In a business, you got a business, right?
Right.
It's a living thing in of itself, right? So,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
we're sharing a bank account.
right.
And we had a plan in place just because everybody talks to us like, what if you don't want to be in business together? So our plan was to buy two of every piece of equipment, just in case we ever decided we wanted to split. We just have an even split. We can each take a set of gear for ourselves, and it would be like we had prepared for that outcome as well. So we did have that in the back of our mind. If we ever wanted to, that was our plan. We're gonna have two of everything, so we can just make
So
a
you
even
literally
split.
talk through the possibility of not aligning.
Of
Like
course,
you
of course.
guys, like, I bet that a lot of people don't do that. I'm just taking a guess. I don't have any stats on it, but I'm going to guess that most people wouldn't think that way.
You got to be realistic about it, and
Right.
that's one of the prevailing pieces of advice that people have for business partners, as we've been, networking with people and thinking about that, is the exit strategy.
Right.
Having an exit in mind is always
Right.
important. I
That's
mean,
true.
even
That's
now you
true.
don't know what the future is going to bring. We've both found now that we have families, life takes you on turns that you weren't expecting, or maybe that are not ideal. And
That's right.
that's going to continue to happen over life. So you have to be prepared and continually adjusting your strategy for both the positive and negative possibilities.
And what I love is and Jeremy shared with me earlier that you both got married, you both had children, and
Mhm.
in fact had children the same week. It's like you two are twins or something. I mean, it's got to be a miraculous story. Like compared, I wonder how many people are like you out there. It's probably not a large room that would be filled with people exactly like you two. It's just fascinating. But here you had babies, as you said, three babies between the two of you. You had
Within a
twins
week,
in
yeah.
a week.
This was a crazy point in our business history that I think kind of launched us into the growth mindset. Because so what happened? Both our wives were pregnant at the same time. My wife was pregnant with twins. His wife was pregnant with just one, but
Right,
still, it's
ones.
crazy. And we ended up having three babies within a span of 1 week. And what that did to us, prior to that, I think both Matt and I were focused on this idea that we are the ones who do all the work in the business. We produce the product, but we knew there was going to be this crazy moment in time where we were going to be able to do very little of the production work ourselves. So
Sure.
it forced us to kind of get out of our own heads and start thinking about relying on employees and subcontractors and building out that network that previously, we hadn't spent too much time thinking about.
Sure.
And I think that was one of the catalysts that launched us into our growth mindset. And, as our families are growing bigger, we're realizing, hey, we sure do value this family time. Wouldn't it be great down the road that we could have more family time and have a team that we can rely on in business? Maybe we should start building out and growing, so that we can keep delivering our same quality product, but maybe not be always the ones who are responsible for every decision and every piece of media that comes out of our
I
business.
I love you guys have the healthiest relationship I think I've ever heard of two business owners. And so you're thinking ahead of all these things and creating a life for yourself, not just creating a business that's going to drag you down. And when I say drag you down, I say that carefully, but all consuming to have a business. You don't go
Consumes your
home, and
time.
even
Yeah.
with your family time, I'm going to take a guess here that I'm probably right on, that you go home and you're still thinking about the business, right? You can't. It's not like you can just turn it off,
Right.
right?
Exactly. And so right, but you have to prioritize the right thing at the right time. So I kind of
Right.
I mean, I have, in addition to the twins, I have two other children too. So
Oh,
when I go home, I'm in full-time dad mode,
right.
and I really try to prioritize being at home, being a family, and because that thing in my list of priorities is even more important than the business.
Right.
And so, but that doesn't mean the business isn't important. That means we have to have the right people responsible, ready to take up the mantle in the hours that I'm away or that Matt's away. So it's just really important going through this process with EO. It's been awesome having the advice, getting all the structures in place and the checklists and the processes, developing those processes,
Right.
writing them down so that other people can easily take up your mantle and continue forward when you need to take some time to focus on the family.
Right. That's beautiful. I love that. And so here you are now. And this is 2009, 16 years. That's a lot to be said for that. And how many employees do you have now?
So we're a team of four.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, so we keep
Yeah.
it lean and mean
Yeah.
right now, but we do plan to grow. Our 10-year goal is to grow to the size probably 8 to 10 employees.
Okay.
We're working out the logistics of how that's all going to work, but that's kind of like our
Hmm.
vision for now.
Yeah. Yep. If somebody's going to do it, I feel like you're going to do it. And I imagine too, though, that you started this. You and Matt knew each other like like you were one, and it sounds like anyway. I mean, you were 14, and so you know each other's skill sets and strengths and weaknesses and all the things. But I imagine in a business where creativity is what you're actually selling, right? You're selling the creative nature, that to hand it off to an employee's got to
Mm,
be, that's got to take a lot of trust and
yeah, the let it go
analyzation of who you're
process.
hiring.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something we're still working on now. Honestly, we absolutely struggle with it because you don't want to hand off an important process to somebody who's not ready to take it on.
Right.
And so we've actually been trying to eliminate some of the creativity from certain processes because there's some processes that need creativity, there's some processes that do not need creativity, and and kind of examining the world that we live in of media creation and separating the two. There's some things that are just systems and a science, and
Right.
this is how you get good results. There's other things where there is a creative element and a collaborative element, and we've been working on mapping out what those processes are because I think people automatically assume that in creation it's all about creativity, but I'd say it's more a small percentage, maybe 10% creativity,
Oh,
90% processes that are
no kidding.
repeated
Okay.
that continue to deliver those good results.
Right, right. Okay. Wonderful. So now 16 years in business. What's your you said maybe grow to 8 to 10 people. Is that your goal, or is there goals like within the business that you're looking to change or evolve into, that kind of thing?
So we're in the process of setting all these goals for now. I mean, this is one of the thing that
Yeah, that's the main thing.
EOA has been helping us work through is the goal setting. Because I think we got into the business because we loved the craft of making videos.
Sure.
And so for probably like the first 10 years of business, we weren't even thinking about scaling. We were just thinking about how can we fill our time and do what we love and make money doing it. And so then in the past like 6 years, we've been shifting our mindset to this growth mindset and setting those goals um, beyond the fact that we want to grow our revenue, we want to grow our team that's capable. We don't have all of our goals set yet. And so that's something that EO is helping us work through.
That's beautiful. And EOA, for those that don't know EO, EO, entrepreneurship organization, has a subset in it called EOA. It's EO Accelerator. So these are companies at a certain size that don't qualify yet for EO, because to be an EO, you have to qualify at a certain number. I think it's 1 million right now. And so in revenues. So this is a beautiful. I wish I knew about this when I started my businesses, but it's they actually help you hands on help you develop your business so that you can qualify for EO. But that's not it. You can just join and get to that point, and you don't have to join EO. But the point is to help you grow, and it's
Hmm.
beautiful because normally you're paying a bunch of high paid consultants for that kind of thing.
Right.
But here you're not only just learning, but you're evolving through it. But the one thing you said to me earlier, and I'm really glad you brought up EOA, because I think it's an important one to bring up in this podcast taping, is that you had no business background. You didn't learn business. Even in that school, you weren't learning a business fundamentals. You were learning, right, just the art of what you do.
Hmm.
Not that that's a great thing. Like, it sounds that sounds like an amazing school, by the way, that you're all in, not worrying about taking some required class because you have to, but you are all in on learning your craft and getting better and better at your craft. But without a business background, like you said, you're just now 16 years in setting goals, but yet you were able to last 16 years in business, where the average business doesn't last more than 5 years.
That's true. I mean, there's always been some smaller goals along the way that we've
Sure.
been hitting to stay in business for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been kind of revolutionary, shifting from the mindset of we're trying to fill our calendar with work for ourselves
Right.
to we're going to grow an organization that is capable of doing all the work and still producing a profit so that we can take some of that home as well and
Yeah. And live your life and be with your
live our life
families
right.
and all the things that you want to do. I love that. And I think so many people focus on growth, 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 growth. And sometimes, what is the reason for that growth? Well, you're zeroed in on what your reason is for growth. And that will probably help you, because I imagine, because if all you're focused on is growth for the sake of growth, you don't know your why. You don't even know why you're here.
Hmm.
Right. And you, for your personal why, it's about having a business that serves your life versus one that serves, right,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's
the big
definitely
mighty dollar.
important to both of us to have a some sense of a work life balance. Like we knew that we wanted to be able to have some nights and weekends for the family.
Right.
That's part of the reason why we got away from weddings more. We went more towards corporate work because we knew the corporate work takes place, Monday through Friday, generally,
True.
usually 9 to 5.
Right.
When we were in the wedding world, we would be booking our weekends out, like a year in advance. You might have 35 to 50 weddings booked out a year in advance. I remember there was one moment in time where my brother had an engagement party and he had planned it, a couple months in advance. I wasn't able to go to it because I was filming somebody else's wedding. And that was kind of a point where I was realizing maybe I want to start reserving some of this time that's most precious for me and shifting what my focus in work is so that I can reserve the most important things in life.
Right. That's so true. I can't imagine. I'm just picturing in my head knowing what I'm going to be doing every weekend for the next year and a half.
Yeah,
And
that's
that none of it includes having fun for myself.
right.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's what's tough about the wedding industry.
Yeah.
It's all events planned a year in advance and they're always on the weekend.
Right. Right. Nobody's getting married on a Monday night.
Yep.
Right. Or most people. Very fascinating. So it sounds like you really have set up a beautiful situation for yourself and for your family and for Matt's family. And I can't imagine that you won't continue to have that level of success otherwise.
Yeah, we plan to keep on going. We've got our big goals set, and we're
Yeah.
growing, and really just honored to be a part of the EOA program.
Yeah.
It's been really helpful.
Yeah. And as you get more and more of that business, EO offers so much learning in business, so much. And I attribute it 1,000 times over to the success of my businesses. Like, there's no question.
Mhm.
And you will, I I can almost assure it. You stay in and you stay involved in it and learning, which it sounds like you have been doing. You're going to keep evolving to whatever you want it to be. So it's beautiful. Um, Thank you so much, Jeremy. I think your story, especially to focus on the partnership and what that means and finding that right partner, is so important, and finding that alignment if you're going to have a partner,
Hmm.
and that long term alignment, not just that short term of, hey, you do this and I do that. And that's all it takes. I think sometimes that's what people do. They find, I can do this part of business. I can do that. Oh, this is perfect. But no, I mean, and especially through life changes, because you're getting married, you're having kids. It's no longer just you, it's other people are involved in what
Yes,
they want in their lives. And that could alter, right? That could,
absolutely.
right? So his wife wants to move somewhere or do something different, then that's it. So thinking ahead in that way and thinking of how you'll grow and evolve together. That's just great messages. So for anybody listening that's considering a partnership, this is a great podcast to listen to for that, along with all the other things that you shared today. So
Well, thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
thanks. Thank you, Jeremy.